Good day everyone, I am Rose and August. Our topic for today is about the techniques and principles in language teaching, which focuses how to teach speaking. Principles defined as the theories that guide language teaching practices, while the techniques are the activities used to implement the principles of language teaching. Let's have an overview about the four macro skills, which includes reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Reading defines as understanding written text to extract meaning and information. Writing defines as conveying thoughts, ideas, and messages through written language. Listening is a process of receiving, interpreting, and responding to spoken language. To fully understand about my topic, let's proceed to the next slide. The contents of the topic are definition of speaking, key components of speaking, levels of speaking fluency, principles of teaching speaking, and lastly, techniques for teaching speaking. What is speaking? Speaking means the ability to communicate verbally by producing sounds, words, and sentences in a structured way. It involves both fluency and accuracy, using correct grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Teachers agree that students learn speaking skills best through interaction. Teachers use real-life situations that require communication and collaboration between the students. There are 5 key components of speaking, which includes pronunciation, fluency, grammar, vocabulary, and interaction skills. Pronunciation means the correct way to produce sounds and words. And the example is the sounds ship and ship. Ship means a vessel larger than a boat for transporting people or goods by sea. So your mouth is closed, while the word ship, so your mouth there is stretched, means a domesticated animal with a thick woolly coat and curving horns. Example is sheep were grazing in the fields. So that words is an example of minimal pairs, which means they have different meaning but only have one sound. Second, fluency means the ability to speak smoothly and naturally. Someone who speaks with great fluency can string words together into coherent thoughts without stumbling. And the example is a student tells a story about their weekend without long pauses. Another example is a news anchor delivering a report. He or she speaks clearly at natural pace and minimal pauses. Third is grammar, means using correct sentence structures, using subject-verb agreement and tense consistency. And the example is he go to school yesterday. So the correct sentence there is he went to school yesterday, because went there is used as past tense of the verb. Next is vocabulary, means having wide range of words to express ideas. Allow students to enhance their speaking vocabulary. Practice using a wider range of words and phrases, considering synonyms for common words, allowing students to use dictionary. In the example, the word there are good and excellent. Good example is a good job, so it indicates something satisfactory, meets expectation, while excellence is an example of an excellent performance. This is something very high standard and surpasses expectation. Lastly is interaction skills, means responding appropriately in conversation. How to improve your interaction skills? By actively engaging in conversation, demonstrating empathy using effective communication, techniques to build rapport, using nonverbal cues, acknowledging different perspectives, which respecting the viewpoints of others even if they have different from your own, asking clarifying questions, which seeking further information to ensure you understand the speaker, retaining and initiating the message in a conversation. There are 3 levels of speaking proficiency, which are beginner, intermediate, and advanced. First, beginner. It focuses on the basic vocabulary and simple sentence structures. Students are learning the fundamental building blocks of the language. Example: the teacher might use flashcards with pictures and simple words like cat, dog, house. Activities would involve simple sentence repetition, such as, "This is a cat," "The dog is running," "This is my house." Next is intermediate, focuses more complex conversations, expressing opinions, and participating in discussions. Students can handle more complex sentence structures and wider range of vocabulary. Example: students might participate in role-playing activities and also ordering food in the restaurant and asking direction. They might also engage in debates on simple topics. And the third one is advanced, which focuses on fluent and accurate communication, expressing ideas and engaging in complex discussions. Students can handle a wide range of vocabulary and complex grammatical structures, expressing their thoughts with precision and clarity. Example: students might participate in formal debates on complex topics, presenting well structured arguments and supporting them with evidence. They might engage in discussions requiring critical thinking and analysis. Principles of teaching speaking. First, promote meaningful communication. Means prioritize activities that encourage students to use language and convey meaning in real life situations, not just memorizing grammar rules. Example: instead of rote memorization of dialogues, students plan about role playing conversation, ordering food at a restaurant, and asking for directions. Second, use authentic language. Use language materials that reflect natural patterns and speech and vocabulary, like everyday conversations, news articles, and podcasts as teaching materials. Balance fluency and accuracy. Fluency helps students speak naturally, while accuracy ensures correct grammar and pronunciation. Don't overly focus on grammatical perfection at the expense of communication. Encourage students to speak freely and correct errors later, focusing on the overall message. Example: during a free speaking activity, focuses on the content of what the students are saying. After the activity, it provides feedback on grammar and vocabulary, but in a supportive and non-judgmental way. Encourage student interaction. Means speaking is social, so learners should engage in conversation with peers. Example is peer or group activities, debates. Develop confidence and motivation. Create a supportive and encouraging classroom environment where students feel comfortable taking risks and making mistakes. Example: use positive reinforcement and provide constructive feedback, which students encourage to set realistic goals. Gradual progression means introduce new language and skills gradually, building on what students already know. Example: start with a simple sentence, structures, and vocabulary. Then gradually introduce more complex grammar and vocabulary as students' proficiency improves. Positive feedback and encouragement means provide regular and specific feedback, focusing on both strengths and areas for improvement. Encourage students to continue practicing and improving their speaking skills. Example: instead of simply saying "good job," so use the specific feedback, which is your pronunciation of what word was excellent. Next is student-centered learning. Make sure the learning experience is relevant and engaging for students, incorporating their interests and needs. Example: allow students to choose topics for discussions and presentations that incorporate their personal experiences into the classroom activities. Basically, it focuses on students. Techniques for teaching speaking. Role playing means assign students a specific rules and scenarios to practice speaking in different social contexts. Example: divide students into pairs. One student plays a customer at a restaurant, the other a waiter. They practice ordering food, asking for the bill, and making polite conversation. Provide vocabulary and phrases beforehand to support the rule. Discussion means students engage in conversations about a topic, expressing their opinions and ideas. Example: show a short video clip about a current event, facilitate a class discussion, prompting students to share their thoughts and opinions. Encourage them to actively listen to each other and respond to different viewpoints respectfully. Storytelling. Students create and share narratives, improving fluency and vocabulary. Example, start with a sentence ramp. Once upon a time, Maria went to town, and so on and so forth. And then have students individually or in small groups create and share stories based on their prompt. Encourage descriptive language and create storytelling. Debate. Students argue for or against a specific point of view which enhancing persuasive speaking skills. Example, same-sex marriage. Divide the class into two groups, assigning one side to argue for and the other against the topic. Provide time for research and preparation before the debate. Interviews. Students conduct interviews to practice questioning, asking, and listening skills. Example, peer students. Pair students. One student prepares a list of questions about their partner's hobbies, interests, or future goals. The other student answers the questions. Afterward, they switch rules. This is a great way to practice conversational English and active listening. Drilling means students practice pronunciation and intonation through repetition. Example, choose a sentence with challenging sounds or intonation patterns. Example is by practicing minimal pairs. In summary, speaking is one of the four macro skills that students must possess in order to communicate effectively. Speaking is important in the classroom as it helps students express their ideas, engage in discussions, and build confidence using language effectively. To improve speaking skills, students should practice regularly through interactive activities like discussions, role-playing, storytelling, debates, while receiving constructive feedback from teachers. By providing a supportive and interactive environment, teachers can help students develop confidence, enhances fluency and pronunciation with peers to have an effective communication skills in real-life situation. Do you have any clarifications or questions? If not, that will be all. Thank you.